We are on our second video for our live stream from the Lucky Lake and District Museum. So I'm standing in the porch because I did tell people last week we may be getting a view of the hallway. I'm sure for some you're wondering, a hallway really? But this is a special hallway because we have board members who work very hard at doing exhibits in the hallway. 2 summers ago, Bev and Lynn worked hard on doing the royal family. And then last summer for Lucky Lake Centennial, they made us the Lucky Lake Main Street. So that's what we're going to tour today. So welcome to the Lucky Lake and District Museum and the Lucky Lake Main Street. We're going to start on the north side. So our building first was the Lucky Lake Pharmacy. Now that ran from 1920 to 1972 and then became a private residence. Then we had the Good Luck Telephone Company. Many telephone operators. And that went from 1919 to 1968 and then became a private residence. Next is the Billiard Hall and Barbershop. That ran from 1920 to 1972, of which our last one was Dorothy's House of Beauty. Beside that building is the Lucky Lake Cafe and Bakery. Started in 1920. Here's a list of all of our owners and operators. The last restaurant in there was in 2008. Beside the cafe is Alice Ace Pepper Pool Hall, barbershop, beauty salon, movies. That went from 1920. And then in 1965, it looked like the store closed due to a fire. Making our way down Main Street, then comes the Lucky Lake Garage. But it wasn't just a Lucky Lake Garage. That went till 1949, when Willard Ross Sr. had the Lucker plant, and then Willard and Marion took it over in 1960, and they retired in 2007. Then is the Canadian Bank of Commerce. I'm sure many remember that bank. From 1919 to 1980. It was also, then became J&A Variety Store and the Sears Outlet with June Millard, and then Mitchell Communications, and then Barb Settler had Barb's Blooms. It's always neat to still see the old safe in there. Then was Powell's Garage. That became, then, on that site, it ran from, it looks like 1920. And then after that, the bank had moved there. And our CIBC closed in 2018. And of course, we all know that the new one is now the RM of Canaan office. Our next building had Frank C. Little. He was the lawyer. That was in the 1920s. We have Lee's Laundry. Now this is where the current post office sits, is where the laundry service was. And there was Len Cook, had North Star Garage. And that was in 1920. Len was also an electrician, and now that's where the Sastel building is. Then was Wood's Harness Shop. That was in the 20s. Then in 1940 to 53 was the Legion Hall. And 63 to 85 was the Kin Hut. Now we have the post office. That was a newspaper building as well as a post office. And actually, our museum was there in 1974 until it moved to this location, which is the old north end of the school, in 2013. Here's our list of our post office masters and postmistresses. And we're going to see what's this direction. So this will be on the south side of Main Street. All right, get that paper kind of pushed back on. And it's the Warner and Kulche hardware store from the 1920s. Those are our different owners. And then became the Double L Motel in that location. Then is Mrs. Dolson's Hat Shop. In the 20s. Red and White store for a while, and then Fleming until 1964. General Insurance. W.M. Fairburn. And then a shoe repair in the late 20s. Oops. I'm so busy looking at the paper and my phone's not really going. It's the trouble when I film the kids too. I'm so busy watching them, I'm not actually looking what my phone's aimed at. Rose and McRobbie General Store. Hmm. 1951, it was purchased by Morris Campbell and joined into the hotel. And here's our big show, our Sam's Hotel and Cafe. And our owners of there. The Canada Hotel. Various different owners. Became until 81, and in 91 it became the Lucky Lake Hotel. And of course, as it is now with Ron and Bonnie. Next to the hotel was Thompson's Hardware. That was in the early 20s, became a cafe. And then a furniture and liquor outlet in the 70s. Anderson's Cafe and Bakery. In the 20s and 30s. An egg station. Butcher shop. Then we had different lottery insurance. I remember Tom and Marlene having that there. And Karen, it's Casuals, and then in 2017 it was torn down. Next to the old Tom agencies, King and Pettigrew General Merchants. That was in the 1923. And More store. And Arts Hometown Hardware. And now it's Dracon Technologies with Bounce. Well, this is where my poster. Oh, right. That's what fell down. Okay. Then, of course, beside that is the RM of Canaan building, which was that office right from early the Hanson Electric in the 20s. Became the new office in 62. Here's our list of our administrators. And of course, now we know it's moved over to where the old bank is, or bank was. Back in the 20s, there was the boarding house owned by John Couch. Then became an elite store, the Red and White store. John's Food Liner, Fine Foods, Prentice Foods, and D&B Foods. And now Joey and Alice have it, running it now, currently. So next to the store, the meat market. 1919 by George Barrett. Then became electric, plumbing, a vet clinic for a while, and then Bill and Cheryl had the Hart Plumbing and Heating, and then B&L. Okay. Smith and Hack Implements in the 1920s. And Tom Agencies, 84. Then we've got DeWolf Lumber. With theirs. Looks like DeWolf Lumber, Benedict Lumber, Ken's Lumber. Okay. That's a nice view of some old pictures. View of the house in 1919. And it was the first building built on the Lucky Lake town site. Was the house. Okay, so that's the little tour of our first part of our hallway. You got to walk down Lucky Lake Main Street and see what was happening back in 1919 and onward, and what's there now and what has changed along the road. So we will see you next Friday, and we'll continue our route down this long corridor, and then we'll hit some rooms. Bye.